I just got the J2NF this week and I'm super excited to compete against my 4 main pickleball paddles. I'm gonna break down in this video how well this paddle plays, but I'm also gonna rank it against my top 4 to see how this one stacks up. It is an incredible paddle, but can it get the #1 position? We're gonna find out now.
Before I jump into the J2NF's playability and how it ranks against my 4 best paddles, let me introduce myself. My name is Ben and I am obsessed with finding the perfect pickleball paddle. I own around 70 paddles, don't judge me, and have tested paddles such as Carbon True Foam, Engage, Gearbox, Paddle Tech, etc., 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 to try to find the best paddle. Okay, I first want to talk about J2NF's playability, but first let me address the elephant in the room. I don't cover Honolulu's J2 FC Plus in this video. So if this content is helpful, please subscribe, as I am going to purchase that paddle today to do the next video, hopefully on the comparison between those 2 paddles. I'll share the cost of each of these 5 paddles later, but just for your reference, the J2NF retails for $195, but I asked the Honolulu Pickleball team and they gave me a generous 10% discount code for my viewers called B Pickleballer that lowers this paddle to just over $175. The paddle also comes with a really nice paddle cover that comes with this little clip that's great for when you're playing at the park. Okay, let's get started with the J2NF's specs and playability before I rank the paddles. In terms of stats, the J2NF has an average weight between 8.0 and 8.3 ounces, and mine weighed in at 8.1 ounces, so it was in that realm. I may try adding some weight to the paddle and see how well that performs. The swing weight on this paddle is between 110 and 114, and the twist weight is 7. Now, before I talk about J2NF's control, my opponent and I both noticed that the grip got a little bit slippery, so I'm planning to also add an overgrip on this paddle. Okay, so I play a lot of doubles, but I wanted to see how this J2NF paddle performed in singles matches. In terms of control, the J2NF is incredible. I would rank this as an A+ in the control bracket. My dinks were insane and I only missed 1 or 2 dinks in warm-up, and that is quite different than my normal play. In addition, I do not think I missed a drop, and my backhands and forwards were on point. It really felt insane just how well this paddle performed in the control category. I also wanted my friend to play with the J2NF in the second game, as his main is the Eula Ben Johns Pro 4, and he was so impressed with the dwell time and control of this paddle that he used my code to purchase this paddle right after the session. He's never done that before. Power is another place that J2NF thrives, but what was even more impressive is that I didn't lose the control with the power. My opponent noted just how deep my serves and returns were going, and with one of the other main paddles that I'll describe later, I would have had to hit the ball with much more effort to get that same result. In addition, I could feel the paddle's power on both forehands and backhands that were really just effortless. In a recent tournament, I ended up switching out of the Eula Ben Johns Pro 4 to my Engage Pro 1 Innovation because I had a difficult time controlling the ball. This paddle felt like a wild stallion. I did not have that with the J2NF. It still maintained incredible control while not discounting the power. Yes, I would say that the Eula Ben Johns still has overall more power, but it's incremental power and far less control in my opinion. So I would rank the J2NF an A for power. Let's talk about spin. I thought that the J2NF also maintained really solid spin. Like I mentioned earlier, my opponent mentioned the amount of dwell time that he felt when he was using the J2NF, and he mentioned just how incredible his top spin felt. When I was playing against him using the J2NF, I would 100% agree that his top spin was on point. That said, this paddle also provided a fantastic spin on my knuckle serve, and the paddle also maintained great slice capability. I would also rank this an A for spin. Now, I would say that the J2NF is seriously the Swiss Army knife of pickleball paddles. But now I want to compare how the J2NF stacks against my other mains, so let's cover that next. Now, I may lose some friends with this ranking, but I competed all 4 of my mains against the J2NF, and this is what I gathered. In 5th place, the 11624 all Vapor all court is still an amazing paddle, but it's in the 5th position. I know the Vapor Power is potentially a more popular option than the all court, and I'll plan to do a video comparing those options. That said, I believe it's a good all court paddle, but when competing against the other paddles in the list, I felt it lacked some control against the other paddles. In addition, I felt that the overall feel and sweet spot of this paddle reminds me a lot of the Vatic Pro paddles or even the Engage Pro Innovation. It's a great paddle overall, but I just don't think it makes the cut against the other paddles. In terms of price, the Vapor Court retails for $149.99 and you can use the code BPickleball for $10 off. The Eula Ben Johns Pro 4 is in the 4th position and it's taken a nosedive since I ranked this paddle first early after its release. I honestly thought that this would rank as the best pickleball paddle of 2025, and I would showcase that in that video. Yes, this paddle is really powerful and has one of the best spins I've seen in a paddle, but I can't get over the fact that this paddle's control is like a wild stallion. Perhaps I need softer hands and I'm certainly not a professional. A lot of great professional players use this paddle, so it is an incredible paddle, but it has not made the cut for me recently. In terms of cost, the Eula Ben Johns Pro 4 retails for $279.95 and is the most expensive paddle I purchased to date. I ranked the Honolulu J2K in 3rd place. Now, this paddle was named the best pickleball paddle of 2024, and it's a classic paddle that meets a lot of the criteria for me for a great paddle. What I love about this paddle is that it is really good at everything and is similar to the J2NF, but I'll explain some of the differences that elevate the J2NF. From the first time you pick up the paddle, you'll notice the lightweight feel paired with solid responsive face. That combination makes it easy to control softer shots at the kitchen while still having enough pop to finish points when you need that power. What I like about the J2K is how versatile it feels for different types of players. Beginners can appreciate the forgiveness and comfort of the grip, while more advanced players will find it delivers reliable spin and placement when they want to get creative with their shots. It's one of those paddles that you can grow into whether you're still learning or pushing towards tournament level play. Comparing the J2K versus the J2NF, I would argue that the J2NF has far more power. The paddle has a really nice feel with a giant sweet spot that gives you that forgiveness of a top tier paddle. Now the J2K retails for $155 and with the discount code BPickleball, you can get this paddle for $140 before taxes. I ranked the Ben Johns CFS 16mm in 2nd place. I played with this paddle against my opponent's J2NF and I started a commanding 6-2 lead with this paddle, but I quickly realized some of this paddle's deficiencies. Yes, this paddle is incredible with ridiculous control and great spin, but I noted quickly what it was lacking. The paddle just doesn't cut it in the power category. I realized I have to swing the paddle around what feels like 30% more just to get the same effect as that J2NF. This paddle retails for $159.99 and I couldn't find a discount code to reduce the price further. Yes, it's a fantastic paddle even though it was released 2 years ago and I prefer it to the 3S, but I have a new first love that I need to share with you. Which brings me to the Honolulu J2NF again, but let me talk about a recent gameplay. And yes, this is anecdotal, but I still feel it's helpful. In my first game with the Honolulu J2NF, I won the game 11-0 against an opponent, which I usually switch wins and losses with. I mentioned that we switched paddles and I started using one of my other mains. It was a close battle, but my opponent actually won the second game 13-11. We switched paddles again to play skinny singles and it went back to just appreciating how well this paddle plays, winning the last game 11-8. Finally, the fact that this paddle is around $175 with the code BPickleballer is insane considering I own 3 of the most expensive pickleball paddles out there, and I would take this paddle every day. Now, I know you're thinking as you wonder how this is compared to the J2 FC Plus. So if this video is helpful, please consider subscribing as I plan one of my next videos to be a head-to-head comparison as I build momentum to release my video covering the best pickleball paddles in 2025. Thanks again for watching. Comment below if you have any comments or anything. Thanks again.